It just came out of Roan, about 10 miles out, summiting Anaka Mountain, and just came across this. Hoosier got a text message a couple weeks ago about there being a forest fire somewhere in Tennessee. And I think we just found the area where it was. This whole hillside's burned out. Like everything's burned. They were up here cutting trees down and stuff, trying to stop it from spreading. It's just so weird. Everything's burned except for the trail. Like they must have used the trail as a fire break, or tried to, by cleaning all the leaves and stuff off. But like that side and that side are all burned, and then in the middle it's all clear. But somebody's been through here, because that's new. It's just wicked. So I just had a interesting encounter with what I assume was coyotes. So I hiked out of Roan to Cherry Gap Shelter last night. It was like 17 miles, but I wanted to go a little further, so I did about 4 more miles, and I camped on a random hillside at like 21 miles outside Roan. And I set my alarm clock to wake up early because there's supposed to be a thunderstorm this afternoon, and I wanted to get as far as I could. So I set my alarm for 5, but I ended up waking up at 3. So I packed up my camp by like 3:30 and started moving. But maybe a mile before the next shelter, which is like Clyde Smith, I was climbing up a hillside, and I just hear all this rustling down the hillside from me. I don't really think much of it, because when you're hiking at night, you know, the deer and stuff are out, so you hear noises, raccoons, deer, skunks, whatever. But I continued to hear the noise for 5 to 10 minutes after that, and I finally was just like, I'm gonna figure out what this is. So I turned my headlamp up all the way to like full brightness, and I turn and look down the hillside behind me, kind of back and to the left, and I count 1 set of eyes, and then 2 set of eyes, and then 3, 4, and 5 all staring at me. They're like white colored eyes. They're kind of spread apart. I assume it was a pack of coyotes, and they just stopped moving, and they're standing there staring at me. So I start yelling, and I have my trekking poles, and I start smacking the bushes in front of me, and they're just, I could see their eyes kind of, you know, you go from seeing one set, they turn their head and they're looking at each other. They're far enough away that I can't see what they are, but I can see them looking at each other. They're not running away, so I yell again, and I hit the bushes. They just kind of stand there, and they're looking back and forth at each other. And I was like, all right, I guess I keep hiking, because these guys aren't afraid of me. And I kept hiking, and I could hear them following me for a little while. Probably another 5 minutes. I kept stopping and looking back every couple hundred feet, and I could still see them behind me. But eventually, they just peeled off me. They must have just lost interest. Yeah, it's definitely the first time I've ever had that happen. And I do a fair amount of early morning hiking. I've seen all kinds of animals, owls, skunks, raccoons. It's the first time I've ever run into a pack of coyotes, or what I assume was coyotes. All right, I'm almost at the Klein Smith shelter. I might stop there, but it's still dark in there. Probably people sleeping. It's March 26th. We just descended off Roan Mountain, which is back there in the clouds. We're in the Roan Highlands right now. It's super windy today, but it's supposed to clear up and be super nice. I think I'm right at 30 days on the trail right now, so it's officially been a month. I'm at approximately 370 miles this morning. I didn't check the exact mileage, but this is the most miles I've ever done on the AT continuously. I think my prior was like 350 miles. But I think it's gonna be a pretty good day. It's gonna warm up. All right. I'm on top of Hump Mountain, which is the last 5,000 footer for about 100 miles. We won't hit another 5,000 footer until we get into Virginia. It's a really nice day. It rained all night. The trail's a sloppy mess today. I've got like 5.5 miles down to East 19, which is one of the main roads. I'm gonna stay at station at E19. I booked a bunk for tonight, which is like $30. Still pretty windy. It's gonna be a good day though. My feet are soaking wet, covered in mud. I almost fell 3 times. I fell once. I wiped myself out pretty good.